everyone. Can you hear me good? I'm not used to public speaking. Do you think I need a mic, or do you think my voice is loud enough that I don't need to?
You're good.
It's up to you. Mic or not? No mic. Okay, welcome everyone to this afternoon's finale. The festivities are about to really begin. Today we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Charlton Arts and Activities Center. I'm Don Konopacki. In addition to being a member of the Arts Council, I'm also president of Pastor Prime Players. The only reason I'm bringing that up is because this is also a significant anniversary for Pastor Prime. This is our second anniversary of being incorporated. You see, we were incorporated on February 29th, 2012. So we're 2 years old. That being said, the rest will be about the Activity Center. This is just a wonderful place, and I hope everyone's had a wonderful time today. And what we'd like to do is take this time to honor some of the people who were very instrumental in bringing this all about. But first, I would like to call on one of our members, Kristen Petcher. If you could please come and give your spiel. She'll tell you some...
I don't want to hold any.
There you go.
Yeah. And I'm not a Toastmaster like Dawn is, so I don't know how fantastic I'm going to be. Bear with me. This is really... Can you all hear me okay? Yes. Thank you guys for coming out today. This is really awesome. We are really happy that you're all here celebrating with us, because this is a really momentous milestone for us, 10 years. That's pretty damn exciting. So as I was thinking about this whole speech, I was trying to come up with one word that would sum up the last 10 years here at the CAAC. And I realized that that word was creativity. Because after all, you cannot have an arts and activity center without creativity, right? So from creating, and I know Pierre is here somewhere, I do not see Pierre. Pierre's over there. From creating works of art, make you think, and creating music and musicians that touch your soul, and dancers that make your heart leap. We saw lots of beautiful dancers here today. The theater performances that felt very large here in this small, intimate space, this space right here. And to the oh so many creative cakes that have been decorated right here in the walls of the CAAC. As many of you, I hope, went up to see Sue's cakes and our beautiful cake out there that Sue Garland made from Let's Get Decorated. But let's not forget, especially in our early years, that creativity is often what kept our lights on. Yes! Creativity was a must if we were going to pay the heating bills. And even when it was the dimmest and the coldest, well, we just kept plugging away. Luckily, we have always been blessed with creative thinkers who could piece together what we had with what we needed. We created what we needed. It helped us develop programs that were wanted. I love you! So some of those creative people you are definitely going to hear more about in just a few minutes. So to that end, it is my duty now to implore you to take one of the flyers that are in lots of places around here. These are our volunteer needs and facility needs. Very important list. There's some up here and some in the farmhouse and some in the reception area, in the refreshment area. Please pick up one of those. That lists many ways in which you can assist the CAAC. Let me stress the word volunteering. We are a volunteer-run facility. This is our most crucial need. As we grow, the opportunities for volunteering grow. We really do need volunteers all the time. We need help before, during, and or after events, especially Blueberry Festival is coming up the end of July. Yay! That's been 6 years now. This will be our sixth year of Blueberry Festival. And we are short one council member. A council member needs to be a Charlton resident. If anybody here is interested in joining our council. See us, we're looking for someone who is, can you guess the word? What word? Creative. We need a creative person. Preferably someone who's computer literate, has lots of great positive energy, and certainly helpful if they're able to keep up with sometimes physical demands of the position. And for some of you who may not be aware, the tax dollars that are raised in Charlton do not support the programs here. They do not support the maintenance of this facility. Occasionally, the town will have to pay for some major repair or an upgrade that the building would require regardless of who was occupying it. So we are responsible for taking care of this building ourselves. The support of volunteers is really essential to our success. Every hour of volunteer work improves an event's success. It makes the grounds look nicer, or it gets information out to the public. All of that translates into a bigger and better CAAC, which I think is what we all want to see. I hope I do. So every time you take a class here, you're not only supporting the instructors, lovely instructors over here, but you're supporting the facility itself. You're supporting the CAAC so that we can continue to be a resource for Charlton and for our neighboring towns, and so that we can keep growing and bring more of the arts and activities that you're looking for. Speaking of instructors, we really would love to offer vacation week activities for kids in the town. And we don't have an instructor or aides to run vacation camp weeks. So if you have any suggestions, please reach out to us, preferably by email. If you don't have that idea now, you think of it later, email us. Also, available on this list. So another good reason to pick it up. And or one of our business cards as well. So thank you once again for coming out. Oh, and P.S. Cash donations, also good. Thank you all.
I don't know, I think Kristen sounded like she was a Toastmaster right there with an excellent speech. I only counted 4 fingerprints. Next up, I would like to call Judy Butler, who will give us a little story about 3 women who were very instrumental in helping start this wonderful place. Judy, would you please come up?
The 3 sisters, Jeanette Goulden, Martha Walker, Hazel James. For years they met in one of the other home. They'd do their crafts and be together. Sandy approached them one day and said, "Would you like to open a gift shop?" Yes, they would. That's the beginning of the Bittersweet Country Crafts. They were here, and it was a warm, inviting place where customers became friends. They'd stop in to see what was new, not always buying, but sitting down and having a chat. I called Martha our unofficial ambassador. When customers would come in, she'd give them a tour of the entire center and its history. She'd go on to tell them about all of the upcoming events. It was a great place. Over the years, the gift shop grew with the 3 sisters to 22 crafters. It was a joy to work here. There was a patch of weeds outside of the gift shop. Martha and Hazel pulled weeds, brought in good soil and plants, and transformed it into an enchanting garden. There were wonderful life-size wood pieces garden for every season. In the summer, there was a schoolhouse. In the fall, there were pumpkins. Halloween, there was a scarecrow. And at Christmas, there were carolers, life-size carolers and skaters. All of them made by Martha, many of them painted by Hazel. The scarecrow. It was quite a production. It was life-size and was on an animated bicycle. The scarecrow was stuffed, so it was as human as they could make it look. The girls raided their husband's closet, getting outfits to dress the scarecrow. And I'm told that he even wore boots that came from Vietnam. One night, unfortunately, the scarecrow was stolen, never to be returned. We had lost our good friend. The sisters did so much more around the center than just operate the gift shop. They would take up a shovel, a hammer, or paint for whatever job needed to be done. So that's why we're here today, to dedicate the garden to the three sisters. I'd like to end this by telling you a story of the escapades of Sandy and Martha. You know, there's a word you don't use in front of Sandy. That's free. To Sandy, it's like catnip to a kitten. She was offered pumpkins. Oh, they're free. She hooked up her trailer, stopped at the gift shop, and picked up Martha. Off they went to the pumpkin patch. Trailer all set, all done. Now they're there, loaded it with pumpkins. Unfortunately, the trailer didn't have a back gate. Off they go to the center. Now mind you, they're coming up Masonic Hill Road. Martha looks out the back window and says, Sandy, Sandy, the pumpkins are rolling out. What are we going to do? Sandy says, we're going to keep on going. Martha says, but Sandy, they're going to be rolling by the police station. We're going to get arrested. What are we going to do? We're going to keep on going. And that's what they did. A little while later, Sandy comes into the gift shop and said, you know, Martha, there's some free pumpkins left in that patch. Martha said, oh no, no. This time, Sandy got a great big box. There shouldn't be any incident with that. Off to the pumpkin patch they go. Loaded this big box with pumpkins. They were free, you know. Back to the center. Sandy's up on the trailer handing the pumpkins down to Martha. Now we're getting down to the bottom. Now mind you, this box is chest high, and she couldn't reach the pumpkins that were at the bottom. Martha, give me a boost. Over she goes, and Sandy is in the box, emptying what was remaining of those free pumpkins. Now, it's time to get out. And she tries to get her leg up. She tries every way to get out of the box. And when she told me that story a couple of weeks ago, I said, well, what happened, Sandy? She said, I think what happened was somebody had to get a ladder so I could climb up and climb over. This is just one of the escapades those two girls participated in. I swear, they could give Thelma and Louise a run for their money. Thank you.
And in honor of the three sisters, we are going to rename the small garden in front of the old gift shop, the Three Sisters Garden. Next, I'd like to call Barbara Benoit to tell us a little bit about someone who left us a little while ago, but was very instrumental in helping make this place what it is. Barbara Benoit.
Good afternoon, everyone. When Charlton Arts and Activities first came into being, we were very fortunate to have in our community a retired kindergarten teacher who had a very strong love for arts and crafts. Her name was Pauline Hay, and she became one of our go-to people for developing the children's art program. Pauline loved working with kids and always with such enthusiasm and patience. Pauline also spent a lot of time coordinating the CAAC's craft shows. She would make the rounds of the neighboring craft fairs and events, gathering business cards and information on crafters so that she could invite them to our craft shows. She and her husband, Jim, would spend many hours designing these events and making sure that each crafter was placed where their particular craft was displayed the best for them. She also loved to paint and took place one year at the Charlton Old Home Day Art Show for her Iris on Slate. In honor of Pauline Hay and all that she did during her time here at the community center, this photo will forever hang in remembrance of a true friend, a teacher to many, and a supporter of all. Please stop by where the refreshments were being served, and you will see posters of Pauline surrounded by the children as it plays on them her artistic abilities. Thank you very much.
And I think that about concludes it. I can't think of anyone else we should mention. Is there? Oh, there was this one person I remember. You know, it's kind of an interesting story. The first time I heard about the Arts and Activity Center, I was on my way driving towards the library because Pastor Pine was getting ready to look at starting and doing their first play. I drive by the center and there's this sign up suddenly that has a list of activities including theater. And I'm going, I didn't know there was a theater in Charlton. I was a little bit shocked, but I went over and took a look and saw that there was going to be an open house. My daughter, Victoria, and I came back a week later, not realizing that the open house was going to be a month later, and we ended up going to the center. But there was a young lady there by the name of Sandy Bacon who went over and started talking with me and telling me about things. And it sounded like a really wonderful opportunity. Sandy met with me and members of my board, and she brought along some people just to make sure we were legit, mind you. And we thought maybe this is something that we could help and work together towards. As I got to know Sandy more and more, I was spending more and more time at the center. My wife would say to me, "Oh, you going to see the other woman again?" And sometimes that's what it felt like, because I'd come over and it would be Sandy. Sandy was here all the time. It didn't matter what time. I swear I could come here at 3 o'clock in the morning and Sandy would be there, you know, cleaning the floors or something. It was just amazing the amount of energy Sandy always had. And I'd like at this time to show our extreme appreciation for Sandy for having the dream, having the insight, having the vision of what this little barn could be. She was the one who went to the Board of Selectmen and suggested that this could become a wonderful arts center. I would like to take this time now to please ask Sandy Bacon to come up and say a few words. Tell us a little bit about the history of the place. I understand you have a very humorous bat story. And if you could just please come up and give us a few words and tell us a little bit about the history.
Really work?
No, I don't think we need it. I've kind of talked like you. It's so great to see so many people here. It took us 10 years, I guess, to finally be noticed that we are on the map, and that's a great thing. This barn that we're in was moved here from the center of town. Years ago, a young man proposed to a woman and asked to be married, and she said yes. And the father had land out here, and he gave it to his son. And then he said, no, you need a barn for your cows. And they moved the barn here. I don't know if the lady ever got a house. But this barn, this original barn, goes way back into the 1800s. I know a lot of those stories because people would come as the center would develop, and they would share with us their memories that they had here, whether it was when it was owned by Dresser Hill Farm as an auxiliary farm, and the young men would hay, feed the cows, work in the milking stand or whatever. And the highway department has a great many of these young fellows that spent their teenage years growing up on this property. And I always thought that was fantastic. Bad stories? Oh, yes. The building was empty for, I think, 6 or 7 years. The town bought it, and then I think we ran out of money and could not develop whatever their plans were for the property. So it was just sitting here. And the red squirrels moved in, and the mice moved in, and the bats moved in, and lots of four-legged critters moved in. And so when the three sisters and I decided that, okay, we have to evict some of the tenants, it was unbelievable the things that we would encounter and where we would encounter them. There were no stairs here. That was nothing but a hay barn. And that's where a lot of the critters had made their home. And it was unbelievable. We used snow shovels to remove what they didn't know to dispose of outside. Different things. But we had a bat that came to the first wedding that was held. And that was not a welcome guest, but it added to the ambiance of the place. You know, I think my best learning experience for the barn was in the winter you'd come, the first winter we'd get a little ice on the floor here. And I looked up and I could see this big hole. So I thought, huh. So I called a young man who works in town, David Barvale, and I said, David, there's this leak in the roof. And we get ice on the floor, it's dangerous. So David comes with his great big ladders and his kids. He blocks the whole thing in. Well, barns have high roofs, and they have cupolas on the roof to let the heat out. So when it got to be summer, and it got to be 90 degrees in here, I knew then that there was a reason there was a hole in the roof. We've improvised some, but you know, that's all that's done. But the center wouldn't be what it is without volunteers that came, and the crafters that came, and all the people. And we all spent a lot of time here. And we all had a lot of activities that we would plan, and sometimes you never quite got enough of a crowd. And with all of people still on the board and still working hard. They filled this place today, and they should be complimented for that. When you plant a seed, you know, you want it to grow. I'm very proud that they've kept it going. Without the music department, we would certainly probably have had a very difficult time going forward. We all done a great deal also. Is that enough stories?
There are some things we like to do. First of all, I must relate one more story about Sandy, and that's when I was doing our first production. We had to sell some ads for a magazine, for the program. And the unfortunate thing is no one wants to sell ads for a program. No one likes going begging. And I said, Sandy, I don't know what I'm going to do. She goes, oh, I know this woman down in town. Here, go over and ask her to do it. And I'm going, I don't know her. She goes, oh, don't worry, just tell her I said it. Sure enough, I went down, and I can't remember the woman's name now, but I went down and knocked on her door and said, Sandy told me you would sell ads for me. She goes, well, Sandy said, yeah. And then,
I don't remember who.
she lives right on the corner over by the Village Green.
Oh, yes, this is
Rosemary?
Howard, Rosemary
Yeah,
Howard.
Rosemary Howard. So that
She
was
can
one.
sell ice to an Eskimo.
One other thing I would like to also relate is I can still remember when we did our first production in the library, and I dressed similarly, and Sandy said, class, we have some class in Charlton. The truth is, Charlton always had class because Sandy, you were here. What we would like to do now is offer a toast, and while we're offering the toast, I'd like to show you a photo of Sandy, which we were speaking.
It's amazing what photography can do.
No, you're not leaving yet.
No.
Because there's one more thing. You may have noticed that we have something sitting up here, and there's like a black cloth on top of it. And it's just another special thing that we would like to give to Sandy. Sandy saw this quite some time ago. It was done by Pierre. And it's a bench, and we would like you to accept this bench
Yes,
on
yes,
behalf of the CAAC.
I'm going to show it to the people.
Yes. And now if you can hold.
You have to come and have a toast with me in the greenhouse.
Yes. So if everyone could just wait, we're going to be passing around some champagne for a toast to the center and to everyone who's been such an instrumental part in making this a success. And yes, yeah, we understand that you didn't want red roses.
No, I don't. I like
Absolutely, that you like yellow roses. So we took special care to make sure you got those yellow roses.
it. Thank you.
And let's see, is there still champagne going around? Should we get another round? Yeah, we certainly need them too.
I have a wonderful family here. They're all over.
It's coming.
They're filling the.
She's getting more.
What?
Champagne.
Oh, we're too young.
But Ego, you're not old enough yet.
But you know, in Charlton, when we came here, 1971 or 2, from Oxford, a long ways away, it was a very rural dairy town. And the cowboys would go down to the center with their hats and their boots. And my husband said, we're moving to Charlton, so I'm going to work at Baytown. And I said, I'm not moving to Charlton. That's where the cows go now. It was greatest move we ever made. And the town has grown. We've lost a little bit of our rural flavor. But it's places like this that if we can preserve them and use them for our creative juices,
Yes.
right? You know, we can keep Charlton still a growing young rural community.
Nice. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I understand that you used to be very good at dancing the Charleston.
No! No, I don't know. That's Barbara's.
No, I'm just joking.
No. Sing maybe, but even that's bad.
Sometimes you can be surprised you do something off the top of your head and it turns out that people actually know how to do something that you say. So it's, I know you have a chance.
But no, I can't do the
Oh,
I can do the
thank you.
twist. Sorry. I have to have champagne just a little bit. I have to drive home.
Long distance.
Long distance, right. Thank you. Robert, you
So I'd like to take this opportunity to ask everyone to raise the glasses high to the success of the Charlton Arts and Activity Center and to its its super success and its continued success, as well as some real good heartfelt thanks to those who were instrumental in making this such a wonderful center as it is today. And let's hope for more for the future.
Oh, she's a jolly good fellow.
She's a jolly good fellow,
when
nobody
can deny.
Eric Hart, do you remember the first day that we met out in the parking lot?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And what did you say?
Get me out of here. What?
Do you remember the sign was up
Mhm.
and you said, is this going to be here in Charlton? And I said, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
And you were looking for a place to sing and carry on your love of music.
Mhm.
And I said, we're going to make it work, aren't we, Eric?
Yeah, you introduced me to Don here.
And I introduced you to Don.
Yeah.
That was one of the interesting things too, how she weaseled me into being in charge of the open mic night, or it was originally supposed to be a jam session.
Yeah.
And she
You
says,
jammed
"Oh,
it for a while."
Can you do that?" And I was like, "Okay, Sandy, I'll do it."
It's like Uncle Sam recruits you, you know you want to do it, right? So that's, you kind of, but you have to blend the right recipe together, and we were lucky. There were a lot of people who kept coming that blended well together, and they're still hanging in there. To the head chef.
And it was more than just volunteering. We became friends that went beyond just meetings and working here.
Oh, let's not get carried away.
No.
But we can fight really
And
well
then
too.
there was- And then there was Fran who came from Auburn. We weren't supposed to have any crafters that weren't from Charlton. But her daughter lived in Charlton. So that made it okay.
At one of our meetings recently, we were talking about today, how we were going to run things and all, and John looked at me and he said, and how would you like to be introduced? And I said, it doesn't matter to me. And he said, well, then I'm going to introduce you as the thorn in my side. That's not a compliment.
But Barbara's the secretary that didn't want to be secretary.
That's right.
And nobody else volunteered. So I said, Barbara, would you just take the minutes of this meeting? How many years ago was that?
10.
I
Where'd she go? Oh, she's gone. The cultural council
Yes,
is where we met.
I think it was that meeting,
Yeah.
after that meeting, you brought me right over here, right after the cultural
Oh, yeah,
council
we
meeting.
didn't let it just settle. They physically came over,
Yeah.
right, and saw the
Walked me
building.
around and I said, I am in,
Yeah.
I am in.
And a lot of other people joined us as we
Yeah.
went along.
I'll keep the notes. Sure, I'll keep
Yeah,
the notes.
of course. I've got that. And when I retired, there's some people that stepped into the other spots,
Yeah.
and they did a very good job. When you plant the seed, you want it to grow, and it's growing.
I did
keep it
kind of
going.
try quitting that one time, didn't I? I did, I had a resignation letter and everything. He was like, really, I'll help you guys out. when you need it."
Just for a little while, just for a little
And
while.
I don't think I was gone for more than a month.
Yeah, right. How can we do
So how can you
without
leave? How can you leave? Anybody else here who feel the same way? Join us. We'll suck you right in. We'll reel you right in and you'll never leave.
Yeah.
And it looks like a lot, I was just gonna say, it looks like there's a lot of people over here who would like to form a 501c3,
Friends of the
Friends of the
CAAC.
I think they already understand that volunteer.
Yeah, I think that would be wonderful, because that is probably our biggest problem, is that we do not get any funds from the town of Charlton. What you see here is all based on the activities that we do here, and what money we can get together from these various activities. So that's one reason why it would really help if we had an organization similar to like the Friends of the Library, who did an incredible job of helping fund the library. Imagine what we could do if we had $50,000 instead of $250. We could do some wonderful things.
But remember, we started with $352. Debbie Ciccarini had, who is our head assessor in town, had tried to get a group going for teenagers. And they started something and the money got deposited into the town coffers, and then for some reason it never opened. And so I was talking to Debbie about what we hope to accomplish here. She says, I can give you some seed money, and that was all the money we had as seed. And
And
it
that
kept
was
on
where
coming.
free came from.